traders at UBA expect improved system liquidity to trigger buy sentiments in the coming week. Now, Chuka Nwachukwu, head of ALM and balance sheet management at UBA, joins me now for more market updates. Chuka, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Just yesterday, the conversation with Esther was looking at whether or not we were going to have that surprise OMO auction take place. It didn't really happen. But let's talk about the updates we've had in the last 24 hours and how investors are laying across the T-bills and bond curve.
Okay, thank you, David. Wednesday when I was in this same program, I did say that I'm very skeptical about OMO coming in on yesterday, and that actually happened. The reason being that the feelers in the market does not indicate that there will be OMO, and then of course the system has been very liquid. We've seen liquidity open as high as 650 billion on Wednesday. So today is kind of like trading open around 250 billion, and that has actually driven the direction of the fixed income market. This week, we've seen yield, and it's been a mixed sentiment actually.
A mixed bag, yes.
This is because it's month end. Many traders taking profit, and so we saw a bit of a bearish sentiment. And then, of course, with the huge liquidity in the system, a lot of a lot of banks were looking to mop up liquidity, so as to avoid CRL debit, and so that's why we've seen a mixed sentiment in the market.
And no doubt today marks the first trading day in the month of September. Now, looking forward into the coming week, for how long, and the rest of September, how long do you think this liquidity will remain? How long will the market remain awash with this? As you also say, this is going to fuel some buy sentiment.
Yeah, so I don't, going into this month, actually, we have about 395 billion worth of coupon payment to be made, and so that's quite huge. That's also aid and alleviate the liquidity further. Going next week, there's an there's an NTB auction, well over 253 will be on offer, and so that will also see a competitive bid, auction as well, I mean to say. So that will somewhat mop up a bit of liquidity in the system. However, we've seen this play out over time. I mean, one day there's liquidity, and the next day the system is dried up. So everybody is just a bit skeptical and don't want to get yourself hot.
And talking about how uncertain the market is right now, we are also within the moment of talks as the build-up to the next MPC meeting under Folashonu Shonubi as the acting governor. The second meeting will be holding from the 25th to 26th. Now, in terms of moves, what are some of the feelers or your reading of likely tendencies to pan out?
Yeah, the last meeting rate was slightly moved. From I believe is 18% to 18.5. So the economy it's beginning to peak. We've seen the ministers have been sworn in. They've been up and doing. We hope that the confusion we see in the market presently due to lack of direction, we continue to straighten out, because with these ministers coming in, and then the government direction in terms of economy people will properly understand it. And on Monday, the coordinating minister for finance did mention that the government will not be borrowing anymore, but I guess probably government might probably still borrow in the domestic market, and of course through bills and bonds. And so we expect to see going forward, we expect to see directional movement. We expect to see confidence come into the system, and then the economy will start improving.
Okay, just a little bit of insight and direction into the currency market as well. What should we expect going forward? The concern around the widening spread between what's panning out at the I and E window and also the parallel market still remains on the front burner.
Yeah, The Naira is currently trading at 762 levels. The bid between the wide spread between the bid and offer has always been there, especially when market is not liquid, and so you see people trying to protect their offer, and that's what we've seen played out. So as long as the demand, like I always say, outweighs supply, we'll continue to see this disparity between bid and offer.
Chuka, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We'll leave the conversation now, and a happy and wonderful September to you.
And you too, David. Thank you very much.
Well, that is Chuka Nwachukwu, head of ALM and balance sheet management at UBA.